hate push-ups. Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki. Today's video, I just want to go over some tips that I use to stay consistent in my weight loss journey. This is something that I think I've mentioned in about every video that I've made, but you have to stay consistent and you have to make your changes sustainable with your lifestyle, and that is what leads to success in weight loss. These are just some things that I like to use to help me stay on track and continue my weight loss journey. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and let's go ahead and get started with some tips. The first thing that I want to talk about with staying consistent, and I've mentioned this before, is rewarding yourself. Rewarding yourself for consistency, not so much results. And what I mean by this is I, throughout my weight loss journey, have given myself rewards each time that I hit a certain goal of staying consistent for a certain amount of time. For example, after 6 months of tracking consistently through my WW app, I treated myself to dyeing my hair blue, which is something that I've always wanted to do. Again, these rewards don't have to be something super expensive. They don't have to be some huge thing, but just something to kind of treat yourself for staying consistent, for tracking every day, and even if you don't track every day, as long as you stay consistent with your journey, that is what you need to reward. You need to reward consistently drinking your water every day, like just different things like that. Finding ways to reward myself really kept me so motivated throughout my journey, and it still does. I'm still gonna give myself a reward for 10 months, for 12 months of consistently staying with this program and using the tools I have. So when I say reward yourself for consistency, it's not rewarding that you hit 50 pounds down or that you lost a certain percent of body fat. That's great. You can reward yourself for that as well. But for me specifically, rewarding my actual consistent tracking was huge in my journey, and it really helped motivate me to stay on track. The next thing I want to talk about, and I've also mentioned this in many of my videos, is not restricting any foods. And I have found substitutes for foods that I eat that are maybe healthier options, but I really don't mind those substitutes. Certain things that maybe don't have a substitute that I still want to treat myself to, I do. And I think that has helped me so much to stay consistent, because in every failed diet I've ever tried, restricting foods or only being able to have certain foods made it impossible for me. It really did, because I swear all I craved were the foods that I couldn't have, and I felt so just like deprived from these foods, and it just always ended up in me failing. So one thing that I did differently this time is I did not restrict anything. I still counted the points for it. I would work it into my WW points for the day or with my weeklies, but I would not restrict anything, and that helped me stay so consistent because I never felt like I was missing out on anything. I could go to an event or something and still eat the food that's there. Before, I would have like held back and just been miserable. That is something that has helped me stay so consistent. Another thing that I want to mention with staying consistent is having quick meals ready. We are not going to be able to cook a nice dinner every night or a nice breakfast or lunch. A lot of us are going into work. I'm lucky that I work from home now, but even Adam still goes into work. So he pre-tracks all of his meals that he eats at work, and that has helped him stay really consistent. But even for me, just having quick meals ready to eat, making the everything bagels, to have those just to throw in the air fryer in the morning and have a side of fruit, has made it so much easier for me, because there are times even when I don't have to do anything, but I'm feeling so lazy and I don't want to go downstairs and cook a healthy meal, but I have healthy options that I can just grab. It makes such a difference. For dinners, we buy frozen meals still. We were eating so much frozen food before, but now we're actually finding healthier frozen meals. So I like to get like the frozen shumai from Trader Joe's, and that's a quick meal we can make. Or we also really like to get like the reduced guilt mac and cheeses, or there's some lean cuisines we even like to have. I'm not eating them every day. Yes, some of them are higher in sodium or higher in things that maybe I don't want to be having a lot of every day. But for the nights where I just got done with a huge order and I just want to sleep, or I just feel lazy, I don't want to move off the couch and make a meal, those are perfect, because what we do is we'll take a Trader Joe's mac and cheese that's 8 points, and then we'll top it with some blackened chicken, some sauteed peppers and onions. We dress these foods up with stuff that we already have that we can throw in the microwave or the air fryer, and it makes it so much more of a filling meal. Going off of that, one thing that has also helped me so much to stay consistent is prepping ingredients and having ingredients ready in the fridge. So what I like to do is I like to, say I'm making a package of like 4 salmon burgers, I just make all 4, and I know that we're not gonna eat all 4 for dinner, but having the 2 in the fridge for leftovers is huge. huge. I love to pretty much double up meals when I'm making them because I'm going through the effort of making them. Why not just make enough to have leftovers? We like leftovers. Sometimes leftovers are even better than the original meal, I swear. So that has helped a ton, is having a lot of times I'll chop up a few peppers and an onion at once, saute the whole thing. I only use a few for my wrap, but then I have it for the rest of the week in a container in the fridge. I could just take it out and heat it up as I go. And that adds so much flavor to my meals, adds nutrients and veggies, and it's not taking me the whole time to prep all this food. So that has been so helpful. And like I said, making bulk recipes. One thing that has been a staple, we've made this like every other week. When it started getting cold, we started making this a lot, and I would just make a huge pot of chili. We would divide it that night into like 8 containers, and some of them I'd throw in the freezer, some of them I keep in the fridge, and then we would eat that meal that night. But then we had meals for the rest of the week. We still have some stocked up in the freezer that we can just grab and make, and it's a healthy meal that was actually homemade, but it's just ready for us to go. Now, meal prepping isn't something that's ever really worked for me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the foods we would meal prep. It always seemed to be like salmon, rice, and veggies, and it just I get so burned out of it. But with this, I'm making good meals that we aren't having all the time. I don't mind having them like 2 times in the same week, but then throwing some in the freezer also really helps. But it's not like a full meal prep thing. So I think sometimes meal prepping got a little overwhelming to me. It felt like it had to be this huge thing, like Sunday night we have to do all this meal prep. Instead, I just kind of prep stuff as I go, and I kind of stock up as I go. As I make meals, I'm like, oh, I can make this much extra. So that's really helped me stay consistent with eating healthy meals and not wanting to just eat out every day. Okay, another thing that has helped me with staying consistent is tracking everything. And this isn't something that I do so much anymore. However, in the beginning, for the first few months, I tracked every bite that I put into my mouth. I think that that just helped it become such a habit to me to track. Now, every time I go to make food, I'm like, oh, gotta track it. And it's not some annoying thing. It's just like a quick scan, get the meals in or get my points in, figure out what I can eat. I don't know. It just has become so much quicker because I did it so consistently in the beginning. So it helps me to stay consistent now that I'm so just like used to it. It's become a habit. After a month, it was pretty much a habit to just track things. And going along with tracking every day, you start to learn what things are how many smart points. So obviously I know now how many smart points a bag of Skinny Pop is because I had one every day, or my egg cups that I used to bring to lunch were 3 points a day. And I just knew that because I scanned it every single day. And I still scan it to track it, but it almost helps more when I'm planning out my day of what I'm gonna be eating because I just know how many points everything is. It makes shopping at the store easier when I know how many points things are. Really tracking everything helped me to learn the WW program, learn how to track with these tools and stay consistent with them because I got comfortable with them. I memorized what they were. It just really helped me stay on track to stay consistent, especially in the beginning, because you really do develop these habits that work for you. One last thing I want to talk about, it doesn't have to do with diet, it's actually with exercise. And with your weight loss journey, obviously being active is important, but diet is a majority of the weight loss. It really is. And so working out was something that I didn't really make my focus this whole time because I really wanted to focus on the food. But when I did start to incorporate working out, I had to find things that I enjoyed. And that made it so much easier because in the past, I thought that I had to go run for 45 minutes outside to lose any sort of weight because I always heard running was how you lost weight. And I hate running. I hate it. I hate running on the elliptical. I hate running on the treadmill. It is something I can't do. I get so bored. I dread it beforehand. I hate it the whole time. Seriously, the whole time I'm looking at the clock, like, how has it only been 3 minutes? I'm dying. And I just hate that type of cardio. So since I've started my journey, I haven't touched an elliptical. I haven't ran outside. I haven't done anything that I didn't want to do. I found ways to get active that were enjoyable for me, that still burned a ton of calories and motivated me to actually consistently work out. So the one thing that I started was rollerblading, and I looked forward to rollerblading every time that we went because it was just so enjoyable to get fresh air. I had fun rollerblading. It didn't feel like a workout, but I was still burning like 600 to 800 calories when I would go for an hour. It didn't feel like a workout, but it was. And that kept me consistent with working out then because I looked forward to doing it. I didn't dread it like I had dreaded the ellipticals. I haven't been able to rollerblade because there's snow on the ground right now. So I actually started getting really nervous when it started getting cold because I knew that that rollerblading had become my main source of activity, I started going to the gym and lifting weights, and I love it. I seriously look forward to going and lifting weights every day that I go. It's become so enjoyable to me. It helps my anxiety and my stress, and it's just like a moment to get away. And finding out that that was an enjoyable way to be active was huge with staying consistent, because now I go to the gym consistently. It translates into my diet and overall taking care of myself. I don't know. I just think you need to find an activity that helps you stay consistent. If you are trying to work out and do something that you hate, you're gonna dread it every day, and it's just gonna make it so much harder. Find some way to get activity that you enjoy. You don't have to run. I have lost 65 pounds without running on a treadmill once, without doing push-ups. I hate push-ups. Without anything that I don't want to do. And I think that is so important, and that has helped me stay so consistent. So overall, I just think it is so important when you're trying to stay consistent with this weight loss journey to really find things that make it enjoyable for you. If you find that you're dreading making these meals or tracking your food or going to work out, you need to find ways to make it a little bit more enjoyable, because when you dread something, you're just gonna put it off. You're not gonna stay on track with it. It's not sustainable with your lifestyle. And in order to be consistent with this whole journey, you have to make it sustainable. You have to make it something that you are gonna stick to because you enjoy it. That has been the biggest difference with this weight loss journey than any other time I've tried to lose weight. Like I said, rewarding yourself for staying consistent, not restricting anything, having quick meals and quick ingredients prepped is huge in staying consistent, because we are all so busy. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody just wants to have things easier, and trust me, that makes it so much easier. So I highly recommend that. And then just staying consistent with tracking, and like I said, finding fun workouts or fun ways to get active. I hope you guys found some helpful tips in this video. If you could like this video and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.